Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Walk. My name's Gareth and today I'm just on the outskirts of the Derbyshire village of Cromford. I'm going to walk a small section of the 1794 Cromford Canal on the hunt for the Duke's Quarries. Now the Duke's Quarries were so named because of their ownership by the Duke of Devonshire, much like most of Derbyshire to be fair, but they're little known. But the stone out of this quarry was actually used to build some of Britain's most iconic buildings, including Hereford Cathedral. Now, I don't know if there's any remains, but that's half the fun, isn't it? So usual drill folks, let's get Google Maps up. This is where I'm going to start the stomp, just to the north of Gregory Tunnel on that Cromford Canal. I'm going to follow the canal all the way down, just to the outskirts of a village called Whatstandwell. Now at that point I'm going to trek up into the woods and see what I can't find of this ancient quarry. Oh, it's a beautiful sunny day folks. Now in that direction, you're going down towards Cromford and to Aqueduct Cottage, which of course we've done a couple of walks from there before. I'll put the links in the description below. Now I'm going to apologise in advance because there's going to be lots of like sunbeams coming through, but you know, we can't complain, can we? Because I'll whinge when it's raining. But there we go, there's Gregory Tunnel. Now I've got a torch, although I'm not really sure I need it to be honest, because it's not very long. Now what's interesting is if you look here, you'll see the path goes up and it actually goes down the other side. So you would imagine, or at least I imagined, that was for the horses, because a lot of these tunnels didn't have towpaths, but this one did. So actually this towpath on Gregory Tunnel is original 1794. I've got my torch out the ready and I'm gonna back in. There we go, yeah, it is working. Look at this stonework. Mate, I love it. Amazing. Now, it's seen better days, that's for sure. I'm going to keep the torch off while I'm stomping through here because I can actually see there is a little bit of light and I think the torch might send it a little bit wappy. Although, I'm going to turn it on for this bit because it actually looks like it's bowing a little bit. I probably shouldn't stand there then, should I, to be fair? But this canal, I'm having a rave, this canal was opened in 1794. Now I've done loads of walks on it before, I love it, it's a real favourite of mine. It was built by Jessup and Outram, who of course were, well, absolute pioneers of canal building and even tramway building as well back in those days. And it was built to connect the coalfields of Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire with all the mills down the canal there at Cromford. It's like a near-death experience, isn't it, every time you come out of a canal tunnel, or a railway tunnel for instance, but I think, to be honest, canal tunnels are more like it because they're smaller. Now this, it opens up, this was actually the widest part of the Cromford Canal, known as Gregory's Dam, so obviously that's Gregory's Tunnel there, look at that. That's amazing. This was known as Gregory's Dam or Gregory's Winding Hole. So this was where all the boats would obviously turn and they'd line up ready to go before chucking the coal through the tunnel there. Now this won't mean anything to you because we don't have, you know, scratch and sniff on YouTube, but the wild garlic around here is amazing and I've not eaten yet today. And there you go again, there's the tunnel. Now there's a path that goes up and it goes up and over the top. Now over the fields, just there, is a place called Lea Hurst, and that was the ancestral home of Florence Nightingale. Now if you've watched any of my videos before on the Cromford Canal, you may have seen the Nightingale branch or the Nightingale Arm episode. Now that was owned by Florence Nightingale's uncle, hence the name, and they actually owned quite a large area of land around here. Now it's hard to tell because, like I say, you know, it's a beautiful bit of construction there, that tunnel of course, and you know, with all the reeds and the trees and you can hear the birds and stuff, it's amazing. But actually going back into the late 1700s, into the early 1800s, this area would have been an absolute hive of industry. And it was only when the railway came along, because it goes through the same valley, about 50 years after this was opened, that the canal started to struggle a little bit. Before then, it was a license to print money, basically. Because as you walk along here, you might be able to hear the road. It's the A6. So across there, you can't see it, but you've got obviously the Cromford Canal. Then you've got the railway, the Midland Railway, which, like I say, came along about 50 years after this canal was opened. Then you've got the River Derwent, and then you've got the road. So all four of them are kind of following the contours of the same valley, the Derwent Valley, which is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of all the mills and stuff on it. But what the Cromford Canal Company did, which was smart, was when the railway came along, instead of trying to compete with it, as a lot of canal companies did, they thought, well, that's only a railway. It's a newfangled thing. People will get bored of it. What the Cromford Canal Company did was sold out immediately. They sold out to the railway company. So then what ended up happening is this canal survived up until 1965 on this section, and only survived because of subsidies essentially from the railway. So it was a real smart move by the canal company. And they've got a beautiful house on the right, which I won't film because it's someone's gaff. But oh mate, here we go. We've got an original 1794 Cromford Canal Bridge, as always, hunting for rope marks. They're not actually that prominent there. They normally are. I get all excited about them, which I know is weird, but yeah, there ain't any. Oh, there is an echo though. I'm here for that. But yeah, you normally get them, but maybe then, because the towpath isn't essentially there, is it? Because of the wall, maybe that's why the ropes wouldn't have been affected like that. Oh mate, look at that! Look at the water on the bridge. That looks epic. So what happened in 1900 was the Butterley Tunnel, which was an enormous, like 2-mile long tunnel further down the stretch. And again, I've done episodes there as well. It collapsed, and it collapsed to the point where it was beyond repair. So it severed the Cromford Canal basically in half. But fortunately for the Cromford Canal, there were 2 collieries this side of Butterley Tunnel, and that was Hartshey Colliery and Pentridge Colliery. So they continued to supply coal down the Cromford Canal all the way up to the mills in Cromford. But it wasn't just coal, it was mainly coal, but not just coal, and we're going to come to a couple of bits in a minute. But look at the engineering. So down there you've got the River Derwent, you've got the railway, you've got the road, so you see that truck. But look at the engineering for this canal. That's a serious embankment. And it's actually in water here, which is great. It's not obviously navigable, you're not getting a boat down it, but it's beautiful. Sorry if I'm blinding you. But in a second, we're going to come to a row of houses. Now, a couple of them are old, a couple of them are modern, but they are private, of course. So there's some drone footage. You can see these properties from the sky. I don't want to get too close to them. But one of them was actually a sawmill. So that was obviously providing, you know, wood and stuff that was coming down onto the barges. And then just further down by the river, as you can see where the railway goes across the river there was a forge as well. And if you just look at this old map, you can see, you know, despite how quiet this area is and tranquil and all that sort of stuff, it was busy in terms of industry back then. And there you can see, look, this old properties on the, oh mate, I'd love a bench on the canal. Look at that. I mean, the midges I could do without, to be fair. But as you can see, without showing the house too much, there was a wharf here as well. You can see there from, sorry mate, okay. Sorry, from the stonework. Now that wharf back there, of course, that's related to the sawmill. That was a sawmill. But this, well, these are the Duke's quarries. So I'm hoping I ain't gonna have to get my feet wet. In a bit, I'll be able to jump across. I'm hoping they've provided me with a bridge. I'm hoping that Outram and Jessup have provided me with a bridge, so I can get up into those quarries up there and see what remains I can find. You'd think ancient quarry, probably not much in terms of remains, probably just a big hole in the ground. But if you look at these maps, these are from, well, between 1888 and 1915, this particular map. There's structures there, look, I circled them. So I wonder. Now down there, you can see an old structure as well. That was a forge, I believe. I might be wrong, hopefully I'm not. That was a forge, if maps haven't lied to me. And of course they may have, but it's unlikely, because to be fair, as evidenced when I went up to Roach Abbey and found those old lime kilns, still one of my favourite episodes, but I was going off of basically I think it was 1870 or 1880 maps, right? And nothing else, nothing showed up on modern maps. and still found them all. So, do you know what I mean? Hopefully then, these guys are right as well. So there's a little bit of a runoff from the canal there. You can see just runs down here. And you can see how close it is to the railway. No wonder they sold up early doors, because they must have thought, right, you're basically on our footprint, essentially. But you find that a lot. Like you'll have a valley that's been carved out by nature, you know, through means of a river. And then the canal jumps on it, and then the railway jumps on it, because obviously it's naturally engineered, really. So here we go, folks. Now, as I understand it, there were some sidings here. So you can see it opens out a bit. There were some sidings there. Now, they were coming down from the quarries. Obviously, that's a new decking. But they were coming across the bridge down. There you go. This is the underneath of it. It does look like a railway bridge, doesn't it? Like it would have had a platform on there. And it's railway era. That's definitely railway era. If you look at the stone, that's come along at the same time. That's not a canal bridge. That's come along at the same time as the Midland Railway. Maybe they were bringing stone out of these quarries on rails then. In the later years, of course, of these quarries, because they were extensively quarried for around about 200 years. Now, I don't know if there was ever a railway. Was there a railway? No, not with a hill like that. But, well, you never know. They could have been narrow gauge, couldn't they? I'll have a look on old maps. But I would imagine they were probably just, you know, like hauled down wagon and horse's job. So this is the start of the Duke's Quarries, they're quite big, as evidenced by the drone footage. If you see the size of that wooded area. So I've trekked up the hill away from the Cromford Canal. It's right the way down there. Now you meet a road. Now I think up there's another road off where I think they still quarry. So obviously I want to avoid that. I don't fancy going underneath a truck. But there is a path here which I'm hoping is going to take me basically to where I want to go. Now, history connoisseurs among you will be thinking, I've gone on about the Duke of Devonshire, it being his quarry, and I've spoke about the stone coming out of here and building Hereford Cathedral. Well, Hereford Cathedral is medieval, so that's not the Duke of Devonshire by quite a few hundred years. But the stone that came out of here was like a pink sandstone, which I think was really distinctive. And so that's why, even in medieval times, they were taking the stone out here. I mean, Hereford's a fair trek, isn't it? From here, let's do a Google map on it. Right, so here we are at this particular quarry, and let's go all the way to Hereford Cathedral in the medieval times. That's insane, isn't it? But they must have really liked the stone. Now, it seems to me, I've almost broken into Elton John then, you lived your life like a candle in the wind. But it seems to me that there's multiple quarries here, but I suppose it makes sense, because if you look at the old maps, it says the Duke's Quarries, plural. I mean, that's enormous. I know that people come rock climbing here, but what I'm looking for are these structures. I'm not sure if they're in this particular quarry, but let's have a look how far that drops down. Oh, mate. That's a serious rock face, isn't it? Wow, that's a serious quarry, but I don't think this is the one. My oldest is 7. She's got into rock climbing recently. We went to this rock climbing place, which we go fairly regular, and the lady that runs it came over and she's got a natural talent and all this sort of stuff, which is great. But as a dad, I'm thinking, do you have to have a natural talent in something as dangerous as rock climbing? What about knitting? Well, mind you, the needles are dangerous, aren't they? That's cut stone, isn't it? That's a base of something. That. So I think that's probably a structure there, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. I'd say so. I mean, I was hoping, ow, that that a bit. There might be like a, you know, a brick building or a stone. I mean, that could just be a pile of rubble, to be fair, although that looked like it was, and I am in the right ballpark, I'm pretty sure, in terms of those structures. Be a sickener, wouldn't it? They're not here. And they might not be here, to be fair, because they're old maps, but a lot of times you can find at least something. Now that has caught my eye, because that's a structure. Now, whether that's just a retaining wall, well, it probably is. But there's something, there's something on top. Right, I've got it. And it makes sense, because that's definitely one. I think that's the structure. And if you look at the map, they are right next to each other. I think, right. I can't wait to tell my wife what I went hunting for today and got stung doing. Rubble. I went looking for rubble, love. But, no, that's not rubble. That's a proper structure, mate. Oh, yeah, that'll do. That'll do for me. Up we come. Yes, mate. I didn't know this was here, and now I do. I mean, it's just a wall, isn't it? Unless it's bigger the other side. It's 2 walls. I wonder what that was then. Worker's hut, maybe. Do you know what I mean? If you're here working in an enormous quarry like this, I guess you'd want a little place to, you know, hide from the elements or whatever. Mate, that'll do. I'll take that, folks. A bit of a hunch off of a, what would it be, about 120-year-old map. And there's something there, so I'm happy as Larry with that. Plus I got to walk a little bit of the Cromford Canal, which I love doing. I love the Cromford Canal. And the sun's out, as you'll know, because it's been blinding you for about the last 15 minutes. But thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.